welcome to Tattooing with Lisa Black, and today at the Tunnel we're going to talk to Gina, and she's going to tell us a little bit about what she does here.
So I'm the store manager, or shop manager, I guess you can call me. Actually, you call me the shop mom around here. I do all the organizing here. I organize your life. I help with the apprentices. I even actually build bikes sometimes with Lloyd. And I open, I close, I do cleaning, I do payroll, I answer phones, I book appointments. I really do everything here.
Including keeping out the crazy sometimes.
Oh yes, yeah. Life is very entertaining here.
It can be. There's been a
Absolutely.
number of times where I've had to actually request your assistance and
Yep,
helping me
absolutely.
remove people that weren't always so nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you've always
We
handled
see
it
all.
very well.
Yep, been 4 years.
Okay, thanks so much, Gina, for telling us a little bit about what you do. Now let's head on upstairs and talk to our next client, Bud. Okay, so now we are here with Bud. He's come to me now for, this is his 5th tattoo. He started back in maybe April, I believe. Was that when you guys came?
No, it would have been probably June or July.
Okay, so June or July, and him and his son got matching tattoos, and we worked on that together. Now today, Bud's back to get a Latin phrase. But before we start that, Bud, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
What would you like to know?
So what was the reason that you and your son first came for your first tattoo?
Well, my wife passed away in April the 19th, after a 3-year battle with cancer. And I wanted something to memorialize her by.
Yep.
It got to be very important to me. And one day when I was sitting at the kitchen window, that my wife used to do all the time when she was ill, and the hummingbirds showed up at the hibiscus plant that we had out in front of the window, and we had a Rose of Sharon on the other window, and they would come there and feed there in the morning, and she would watch them. She always got excited about that. So I wanted that. I had that. You did that for me, and
It was a happy memory you wanted to capture.
yeah. It's the reason I did that was because when I come out of the shower, when I change, I see that, and I don't want to forget her.
Yep.
I don't think I ever will, but
I think it's impossible.
that comes up. It's forefront. It's always there. It's important to me.
Okay, so we had talked a little bit before about your struggle yourself when you were taking care of your wife. You were ill yourself, and you found it really difficult to get some assistance.
Well, I had kidney problems, okay, and it was the last several weeks of before my wife passed away. I had several surgeries over the last several years. I had a kidney they were going to remove a couple of years ago, but they saved it. But it's a reoccurring problem that I have. So I went in and I had kidney surgery on the 1st of April. And when I come out of the hospital, of course my wife, she started to take a turn for the worst. She had 28 rounds of chemo, and I think it was 8 or 10 or 12 rounds of radiation. I can't remember now. She was pretty well cooked by that time, and things were starting to go, downhill. And I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping. Everything became a struggle. I could no longer give her what she needed. So the nurse that we had, the nurse that used to come in, she was good, and they tried hard, but so we decided that I needed some help. I needed some PSW. I need some kind of assistance. I was trying to recover myself, and I was having trouble getting around. So it took a while, but we started to get some assistance. Some of it was good. We had several ladies, I guess, over several weeks or whatever it was, or a couple of months, whatever it was, come in. A couple of them were really good. They knew what my wife needed, but the rest of them it wasn't good at all. Some would show up, some wouldn't. I was pretty well trapped in the house for weeks. I couldn't get out, couldn't shop, couldn't go pay the bills. My son would come over when he could and help out. But one night, for example, there was a knock on the door around 1 o'clock in the morning. And when I answered the door, it was a PSW. And I asked her what she was doing there that time of night, and she said she was a night shift. I wasn't even aware that there was somebody going to come in at that time. I told him I used to get an hour a day, an hour to 2 hours a day. It started in the morning sometimes, and then I said, like, morning wasn't good, you know, so they changed it to later on in the afternoon, and then, but I wasn't getting any sleep at night. Several weeks went by, I couldn't sleep at night. So I said, I need some help in the evenings.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, this woman showed up with, unbeknownst to me, nobody even told me she was coming. Okay, that's sometimes the way it would work.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not blaming the system in any way, but sometimes I think there's a breakdown in communication somewhere along the line.
Yeah.
People fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
I think that's what happened to my wife and myself over a 3-year period with all the hospital visits and it was several months before they actually even had her diagnosed. Okay. Yeah. And I think that in that time she had fallen through the cracks because we went from one hospital to another and then when they finally decided to start treating her, it was pretty well too late, you know.
So did you have her moved to a different location at some
Yes.
point?
We were going to Sunnybrook Hospital, and Sunnybrook's a good hospital. They do some amazing things down there. But for me personally, myself, I felt like we were just a couple of numbers passing through, like cattle going through an abattoir.
Yep.
You know, you get lost in the shuffle sometimes.
Yep.
From one doctor to another doctor to another doctor, and then the reoccurring tests over and over and over and over and over again. You know,
Did you feel a
multiple
little bit
times
was
the same.
unnecessary?
Yeah, well, the same tests from one doctor to another, to a surgeon, to an oncologist. I mean, it was all the same tests. I mean, so finally I lost it, and I said, by that time they had an oncologist in the Barrie Hospital, and I said everything's going to Barrie, because it started to become real taxing on us for me to have to bundle her up and get her to Sunnybrook.
Yeah. The
You know,
drive alone would be.
The drive, especially in the wintertime, it was awful. Yeah. And to try and make the appointments and be there on time and not get, because you never knew what kind of traffic or weather you were involved in. Yeah. So finally I lost it, and I said, I want everything done in Barrie. Okay, because it was close, it was easier, it was more convenient, and it was easier on her too. Yeah. You know. We went to Barrie. They were very good at Barrie. They were very good at Barrie, but still people get lost in the shuffle. And when we went there, everything had to start over again. It was like day one again.
They couldn't just transfer tests or results or anything?
One hospital, for some reason, will not accept the results from another. I don't know what the story is on that. Okay, so there would be multiple tests again. Okay, and like I say, several months went by before I lost it at one point, and I said, you have to do something. Yep. Just do something. Okay. And so then we had everything moved to Barrie, and things started to go well. And everything was good for a while. After, I don't know, 20 some odd rounds of chemo, and then they had to give her a break because she was pretty well pooched by that time. It takes a lot out of you. Yeah. She would get dehydrated, and she would fall down, and I would have to get her back to the hospital, get hydration, and then they started doing it at home, bringing a nurse in, and they would hook her up with her hydration, and then I would unhook her when she was done, so the nurse wouldn't have to come back. Because with all the downloading in the systems and all the cutbacks, these people are really busy. Yep. Okay, and it's hard for them to stay on top of things. Yep. You know. So I would fill in wherever I could. I always did.
But being sick yourself, it must have been a little...
Well, the last couple of months was bad. Yep. Okay, it just got worse and worse and worse.
Was there, you were saying something about eventually she was moved into a full care facility?
Well, she passed out a couple of times. One time she was on a colostomy bag as well, and I used to change that and clean her and bathe her. And one night when I was doing that, she fell over backwards. She fainted. She fell over backwards, and her head went through the bathroom wall. I thought I'd killed her. But, you know, I got her to come around, and I called the ambulance, and they came and they took her to the hospital, and they gave her hydration. And it was at that point where I pretty well begged the nurses, we have to do something. I went into town one day. One day the PSW didn't show up. So I called my son because I had to go into town. I had to pay some bills. I had to do some banking. Life goes on. And so he came over. I went into town and I went to the MPP's office. Okay, both the Conservative and the Liberals' office. And I was at my wit's end and I didn't know what to do anymore. And I went in and I explained my situation to them, and I don't know whether it really did any good or not, to be honest with you. When I left there, they were compassionate to me, and they advised me on a couple of things that I didn't know. And so I came into town and I did my banking, I did some shopping, and before I even got home that night, my son phoned me and said that she had been accepted into Matthew's house, and I was just overjoyed, okay, because I honestly believed even then that if I could get her in there for a couple of weeks, then she would be able to get her strength back,
And you'd have a little bit of rest and help too.
That wasn't on my mind. I didn't care about that. I just wanted her to be in the right place to get what she needed.
Yeah.
Okay. So they couldn't come. I got home and they couldn't come and get her till almost 8 o'clock at night. So the ambulance finally showed up and they packed her up and took her in the ambulance, and I followed the ambulance down. And I stayed with her till about 10:30 at night. And they told me I could spend the night there if I wanted to, but I couldn't. I couldn't spend the night because I knew if I did, that I wouldn't let anybody near her because it's the way I was. I was always, if she moved or she moaned or she was in pain, like, because I was so accustomed to taking care of her, I wouldn't let anybody else, So I knew I would be a pain. So I said, no, I'll be back first thing in the morning. We never spoke again. I kissed her goodnight and I left. It was about 10 to 1 in the morning. They phoned me and they told me to get there quick because she was going. And I remember jumping out of bed and bumping into the walls, trying to find my clothes and get myself dressed. And I got into my car and I took off like a shot. But no matter how fast I drove, I couldn't seem to, it was like something was holding me back. And finally when I burst through the door, I could tell the way the nurses looked at me that I didn't make it. I was too late. She was gone. And it was all over then. We were married for 45 years, and I loved her terribly. She was an amazing woman. So, I do this because maybe it sounds silly, but somehow it gives me strength. And I was lucky enough I found you, and you've done amazing work for me, and I appreciate that.
Well, I'm glad that I could help you commemorate her and your love for her. You ready to do your 5th tattoo?
I'm ready. Okay. I'm ready.
Let's get started then.
Okie dokie.
You ready to start?
I'm ready.
Okay. Now this spot is a little bit more tender. I'm gonna warn you now. And stay still. Okay, Bud. I just wanted you to tell everybody a little bit about what the meaning of this tattoo is.
Well, when I was a young man, I liked that tune, Like a Rock. And over the years, my wife used to say to me that I was her rock. But it was really the other way around. The truth be known, she was my rock. She was the reason I got up in the morning and went to work and did what I had to do, take care of her and the family.
And to give them a good life, right?
Well, I tried to give them a good life the best I could. She never really ever lacked for much. She got whatever she wanted. I used to say to her I didn't care if at the end of the month we didn't have 2 nickels rubbed together as long as we didn't have any bills. She knew how to spend the money. She loved to shop. I never knew a woman who didn't, but
Me, you know one now. I hate shopping. That's my least favorite thing to do in the world.
But I find myself now that I'm alone, to fill my day. Sometimes it's hard to fill your day when you're alone. So I go into town and I have a coffee and I wander the streets sometimes and
Come visit me.
go to the shops. I do stop in to see you the odd time, but I don't want to be a pain in the butt.
You're never a pain in the butt. You're always welcome. Anytime you want to stop in, you can. So the pronunciation of this is quasi-lapis, correct?
Yeah.
Yep. And it means like a rock in Latin, which I think is pretty cool.
The reason I wanted it in Latin was most people don't know Latin, or like my high school Latin. Jeez, I don't remember none of it anyway. Most people don't. But when they see it, they'll ask what it means,
Yep.
So there's a little bit of a story behind it. As you can probably tell, I never get tired of talking about my wife. What we lived, I guess you would, in my eyes, was the perfect romance novel, really, I think. And I know that may sound corny to a lot of people, but
Actually, your story kind of reminds me a bit of The Notebook without all the separating drama stuff. Well, Bud, we are all done.
perfect.
Didn't take long, eh? This is
Didn't
the
hurt a
shortest
bit.
one that you have.
Didn't hurt a bit. Thought you said there was tender.
Well, it is. It's right just above the chest bone there. So I thought it would be very painful. I'm terrified to get that spot done. To be honest.
I didn't find it painful at all.
Welcome back to Tattooing with Lisa Black, and today we are going to let my apprentice Brittany tattoo one of our shop representatives and bike and board mechanic extraordinaire, Lloyd. He is an employee here at the tunnel, and he often allows my apprentices or past apprentices from other artists to tattoo him, and he's awesome like that. So we love having him. And Lloyd, tell us a little bit about what you do here at the tunnel.
Well, I guess I'm the bike man.
You are the bike
Fix
man.
the bikes, build the bikes, look after the mechanics that goes on in the store,
And you do
shovel
a
the
good job.
snow, clean the windows, sweep the floor,
Open the door.
open the door.
And welcome
Wash the
everyone to
floor.
the tunnel, right?
You're a
The
front end
welcoming-
man.
The welcoming phase downstairs from time
And
to time.
and then I'm a guinea pig sometimes.
For me.
I don't like the terminology, but
No, I love it.
So about how many tattoos have you allowed the apprentices here to do on you?
including yourself, because you were an apprentice at one time too. Remember?
Never here. I was a junior artist here, but
yeah,
never an
junior.
apprentice.
1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 or 6.
5 or 6
Brittany's
tattoos.
done a couple on
I've
me.
claimed his legs, I think. They're mine. done a few on his legs.
Okay, so Lloyd, what are you going to be getting tattooed today? And have you ever been really nervous about the apprentices tattooing you?
No, I'm never nervous. Not with Brittany. She's
Oh.
tattooed me before.
Thanks.
Today we're going to do a bicycle tattoo.
And why are you getting that today?
Well, because I thought it would be kind of cool, being a bike guy. And we saw the drawing a while back and made the decision. It's going to be Rasta colored too, but we're just going to do the bike part today.
Awesome. Okay, well, let's
Looking
get
forward to it.
Good. Britt, you ready?
I'm ready. Are you
Okay.
ready?
Did you want
I'm ready.
to maybe share with our viewers what the image looks like?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you
I
go.
already stenciled it on him, but that's the stencil there. But with the Rasta colors, that's it there. So the end product will look like this. It'll be a lot of fun to do. I'm really excited. It's a cool
There we go.
tattoo.
You
You
got
ready,
it
Lloyd?
stenciled there?
Yeah, I got it all stenciled.
There we go.
Okay, well, let's get started then.
Pitter
Pitter
patter.
patter, let's get at her.
All right, Lloydster, are you ready to go?
Let's
My
pitter
man?
patter, let's get at her.
It's my
What are we waiting
favorite
for?
saying of yours. My favorite saying. Are you excited?
Are
I
you
haven't
ready?
tattooed. Are you ready? I haven't tattooed
Brittany,
you in a
I'm
while.
always excited.
Good. I haven't tattooed you in a while.
Don't hurt me.
I will try my best. I have this new machine. You get to test out my new machine. So Lloyd, how long have you been working on bikes for?
All my life.
All your life.
When I was a kid, I hung out at the bicycle store.
Really?
Now we have a bicycle store.
Now we're the bicycle store.
Yeah, Jamie said that a few years ago. Dad, there's no bike store in town anymore. Well, let's become the bike store.
That's a good idea. I like that. And you and Jamie have had this store for how long? Forever, it seems.
And it's been here like 12, 13 years here.
Seems like a long time.
Started off building bikes in our garage.
Really?
Jamie did, yeah.
Do you like the new machine?
I can't even hear it.
I
Brittany.
know. Isn't it more gentle though?
Well, because the noise always sounds like the dentist, you know, that
I know.
high-pitched noise. So
My
I didn't even know
dentist
you'd
drill.
started. Have you started?
Yeah. Oh, I'm gentle too then, huh?
You're getting gentler.
Thank you.
Well, looks like you guys are finished now.
Yeah.
Just adding the finishing touches.
Yeah.
Looks great.
Looks good, eh?
Lloyd, how did it feel?
Well, just marvelous. Just marvelous. There's no sound, so you don't get yourself psyched
My
up.
new machine.
You just feel a little wee bit of vibration, that's all. Eh?
Yeah.
Looks nice, I saw it in the mirror.
These new machines, state of the art. They're so
They
great.
are amazing.
No sound.
It takes away a lot of the triggers for pain in the brain.
Well, that's, yeah. like I was saying, it's like going to the dentist. Used to be zzz, 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 zzz.
Yeah,
No
you used
noise.
these new
My
quiet
arm's not
machines.
even tensed.
And Britt, how did you find it was tattooing on Lloyd's skin?
I enjoy tattooing Lloyd, but Lloyd's skin is a little bit tricky because it is a little aged, slightly. He doesn't look older than 40, but
Oh, shanks.
it's also a little bit sun-kissed often.
Too much sun.
Too much.
Tough and thin skin.
Yes, you're like a rhino, but you can blow out easy, which is never a good thing.
That's
So you
right.
gotta be gentle. And the machine definitely helps with that.
For sure.
And do you find that using this new style of machine and the cartridge needles is a little easier for you?
Oh, absolutely. The transition from my traditional machine to this new one is like night and day. It's amazing. Not to knock the traditional, because I still use it. It's still a great machine. But this new one just gives me that much more control, and it can let me get those lines in beautifully right off the hop. It's awesome. And it's more enjoyable for you.
That's right.
It also, as a new tattoo artist, gives you more opportunity for success.
Yeah, absolutely.
Star Wars technology.
Right? And I love Star Wars. Star Wars technology. Awesome. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. I'd like to thank Lloyd and Britt for
I'd
being
like to
part
thank
of
you
this.
guys, everybody.
A little high five.
I'd also like to thank Bud for coming in today and working with us. And I'd also like to thank my kids, Emily and Ashley Lansborough, hi guys, and also Riley and Nia Barnes for all your support. You guys are great, and thanks to you guys as well.
Right on.
We'll see you next time.
Later.